are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports, let go, Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports, let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and I am live for your NXT recap. Live May 12th, 2026 to tonight. Hopefully you guys had a good Tuesday. This work week is flying by already. We're already almost halfway there, halfway home. So yeah, NXT was really good tonight. I know I've seen a lot of stuff online about people are having difficulties, I guess, with all of the call-ups that got called up. JC James and the Salt Rickers and Ethan Page and Ricky Saints and Joe Henry, but NXT is still cooking. That women's division is still very solid, and they're still cooking. So definitely a lot to look forward to. Kalani looked really good tonight. Kendall Gray, obviously that match was the main event. Obviously there's a lot more going to go on with that. And then we see Nikita Lyons, obviously, in the tag team match with Zarya. And obviously all four of those ladies are going to be wrapped up in the Women's North American Championship feud. So, yeah, there's a whole lot going on in NXT, and obviously Izzy Dame attacked Lola Vice. And then obviously it looks like Ren Sinclair is hurt, which I kind of spotted that night on the show, but I don't know how serious it is. I haven't seen or heard of any reports on her injury, but some big news today, obviously for me. I started a follow train probably 14 or 15 months ago for the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and I finally did get that follow back today on X. I just commented on one of her posts. Just consistency, I guess. I commented and she followed me back immediately after that. So it took me 15 months, but I finally got that follow back from Charlotte Flair. So that's Cody and Charlotte within the last 3 months. So I'm super excited about that. Now I can start moving on to JC Jane and Kendall Gray, people like that. Obviously, I guess the more bigger names follow you, the better your odds are getting people to follow you. Obviously, like I said, just a couple of quick announcements. Next Wednesday night, a week from tomorrow, will be the Saturday Night's Main Event prediction show. So if you're signed up for that, just look out next week, obviously, for the post on X, and I will tag you. But it will be next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, live here on the EVP Show. There's 2 matches announced right now, so I'm hoping we have a full card by next Wednesday. We still have one SmackDown and one Raw before the prediction show, so I'm almost positive that the card will probably be pretty much all the way put together before we do have the prediction show, but because I don't see it happening more than 4 or 5 matches, so hopefully the card is already out. Like I said, I do think we'll have a couple of matches from the SmackDown side. There's been a lot of speculation that might do Jacob and Jay. I don't know. I heard some rumblings of that today, so we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and post on X that we're live. I think I've even got any viewers over right now, so make sure that I post that we're live. It's been a busy day for me. And I'm off tomorrow, no stream, my first day off, so I'm gonna enjoy that. So, all right, so go ahead and put a live. I don't know why my phone is supposed to the Wi-Fi is Like I said, guys, sorry, I'm just retweeting the ER line. Oops, I don't want to hear my phone. Looks like we got a couple people straggling here. NXT kind of hit or miss, but I know there's another podcast on Gimmick Table going right now. I know Carlos has got a space going as well, so I know it's kind of hit or miss tonight, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. Obviously, I'll go through my schedule with you guys at the end of the stream for the remainder of this week and next week. Because everything is made for next week. All I have left for next week is NXT, TNA, and SmackDown. But everything else has been made for next week. But I can go ahead and give everyone my schedule for what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be having another 7-day streaming schedule next week. So you guys hit your notification bell and come join me. Like I said, today's a great day because I got the follow back from Charlotte Flair. I can finally put that on my notch belt. I start moving on to JC Jane now. See how long it takes me to get JC Jane. So obviously that's going to be my next goal. But shout out to Charlotte Flair for the follow back. Miami said it to Tommy the other day. She said it's coming, like it's gonna come. So he was right about that. He said about Cody as well. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Obviously, this is your NXT recap live Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. And oh my God, if you guys seen comment on X doing the Liv Morgan trouble dance, oh my gosh, he has something else with that. It was hilarious. All right, so let's get to the NXT recap tonight. Try to get through this as quickly as possible. Tonight's NXT, May 12th, 2026, is from the Capitol Wrestling Center, WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. Going to see Kalani Jordan go one-on-one in the main event against one half of Ren QCC, Kendall Gray plus Supernova. Nolan Dar will face the Vanity Project Jackson Drake in a singles match. We're going to see a 6-man tag match with Super Shawn Legacy. We just seen this guy on LFG season 3, episode 3. I talked about him on this past recap show. This Sunday, Tate Wilder and EK Prosper going against Birthright, Uriah Connors, Charlie Dempsey, and Shannon Stack for Renzo. And then we have a women's tag team match, which I love everyone involved here. Zarya and Nikita Lyons, shout out to Nikita Lyons, against the WWE NXT Women's North American Champion, Tatum Paxley and Lizzie Rain. Now, next week on NXT, Tatum Paxley is going to be defending the NXT Women's North American Championship against Lizzie Rain. So I know there'll be a title match that will come out of this. So looking forward to that. I don't think Tatum drops it to Lizzie though. I think it's going to be, and eventually it's going to end up being Zarya. And obviously Evil or Nakaru, however you want to call him, makes his in-ring debut tonight. So the show opens up with Big Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T welcoming us. Tatum Paxley makes her way down to the ring for the first match of the night, followed by Lizzie Rain. And I can say, for Lizzie Rain not being on NXT television, but just a couple of times, she is already super over. And she's adapting really well with the fans. So she is going to be it seems like she's going to be a pretty big star on NXT for sure. And then Nikita Lyons makes her way down to the ring. She came down with a new mask. I love what Nikita's doing. She gets a lot of hate online, which I don't understand at all. But she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. She looks great out there. So Nikita makes her way down to the ring. Also with her tag team partner Zarya as well. Zarya, ever since she beat Solarica, she's just kind of been on a mission. Obviously, she didn't eat the pin that night, but I didn't think she would. I don't think Zarya's gonna eat a pin again for a while. So, all right, so it's gonna be the tag team match: Zarya and Nikita Lyons versus the WWE Women's NXT North American Champion Tatum Paxley and Lizzie Rain. The match starts off with Zarya and Lizzie Rain locking up. Lizzie Rain in a positive waist lock. Zarya delivers the headbutt. Lizzie Rain fires back with a headbutt. She follows it up with a Hurricane Rana. Zarya then hits a clothesline. Lizzie Rain hits an enziguri. Tatum Paxley then comes in and she hits Zarya with a code breaker. Zarya did not want to make the tag, so Nikita made the tag herself. Nikita Lyons comes in and she delivered a big right hand and slammed Tatum Paxley into the mat. Sorry, there's people like in the background. Lizzie Rain entered the ring and helped Paxley fend off Zarya and Nikita Lyons. They then slide through the ropes, wiping out both of them. Zarya sends Lizzie Rain on the hardest part of the apron. She then hits a forearm and plants her on the apron. Back in the ring, Lizzie Rain tries to fight back with a series of rights. She then follows it up with a flying elbow. Zarya then catches Tatum Paxley, but Paxley rolls Zarya up for a count of 2. Zarya then hits Tatum Paxley with a backbreaker. She then hits an elbow in the corner and follows it up with a clothesline for a count of 2. Nikita Lyons is now the legal woman. She applies the side headlock on Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley then tries to fight back, but Nikita hits her with a sit-down style powerbomb for a count of 2. Zarya then comes in and she runs into a boot. Zarya catches Paxley midair, but Paxley sends Zarya to the outside. Lizzie Rain then fires off with a series of clotheslines to Nikita Lyons. Lizzie Rain then chops down Nikita in the corner and hits Zarya with a cutter. Lizzie Rain then hits a running elbow to Nikita. Nikita fights back and hits Lizzie Rain with the right hand. Tatum Paxley comes in and super kicks Nikita Lyons under the jaw and then goes for the cemetery drive, but Nikita Lyons counters with a kick. Both women are down. Zarya then refuses to take the tag from Nikita, so she kind of left Nikita hanging high and dry there. At that point, they were pretty much done for it. Nikita went to try to make the tag to Zarya, but she did not want to take the tag from Nikita. Tatum Paxley delivered the kick, and then Lizzie Rain hits the Thunderstruck for the 1, 2, 3. So for the second time in 3 weeks, Lizzie Rain has pinned Nikita Lyons. But Zarya, if she would have been standing there and could have took the tag, who knows what would have happened. But Lizzie Rain and the Women's North American Champion Tatum Paxley, which they will be facing off against each other next week live on NXT for the Women's North American Championship, get the victory tonight. So we go to the back where we see Kendall Gray talking to Vince Sinclair. Vince Sinclair is obviously on a crutch. She tells Marin that she is getting revenge for what Kalani Jordan did to her 2 weeks ago. Marin then says she will help Kendall get to the women's title. Marin then says she does not want to be a distraction. Ultimately, what ended up happening tonight. Vince Sinclair kind of was a distraction. Ola Vice shows up. She is the women's NXT champion. It says she does not dislike the idea for a rematch between her and Kendall Gray. Kendall then says she left things open-ended. Rand then tells Kendall to focus on Kalani. Kendall then says she is going to win tonight, face Lola again. Her and Lola Vice kind of go back and forth, and obviously at the end of the program, Kendall ended up pushing Lola a couple of times. So it's getting very heated in the women's division. You got Kendall Gray, you got Lola Vice, you got Izzy Dane. You also got Kelly Armstrong in the fray. So A lot going on there. Kendall Gray still has her sights set on Lola Vice's NXT Championship. So then Lance Dorado then makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night. He will be going on one-on-one with the debut of Evil or Nakaru. WWE picked a good opponent for Evil for his debut. He knows his style of wrestling, so definitely a good opponent for Nakaru. It's hard for me to call it Nakaru because obviously I was on the Evil, but so we get the NXT debut of Nakaru as he is going to go one-on-one with Lance Dorado. So the match starts off with Nakaru hitting a big shot to the gut. Nakaru then applies the side headlock and he hits a shoulder tackle. Nakaru then chops down Lance Dorado. Dorado then hits a springboard flying crossbody. Nakaru then stomps on Dorado's face. Nakaru then hits a big floater into the corner. Nakaru then drops Dorado to the mat. Dorado then hits a big drop kick. Nakaru fires back, then Nakaru runs into a big boot from Lance Dorado. Dorado delivers a series of right hands. Dorado then hits Nakaru with a stunner. Lance Dorado then runs into a boot. He tries to charge at Nakaru and he runs into a boot. Nakaru then sends Dorado into the corner and he hits a fisherman's suplex. Nakaru then hits a snap suplex and follows it up with an STO for the pinfall. Tonight was an impressive win, and it was the NXT debut for Evil, otherwise known as Nakaru. After the match, Nakaru got up in the camera and talked about how he is nothing but pure evil. It's a good opening match for Nakaru, aka Evil, on the NXT program tonight. First match on NXT. I think he pretty much chose to go down to NXT. I think he had an option to be on the main roster, but right now everything's so watered down. I think he made the right choice by going down to NXT because there's so many young stars down there right now. So he can definitely be involved in the upper card on NXT. You know, fighting for the big titles with the Tony D's and the Miles Bournes and stuff like that. So we then see EK Prosper, Sean Legacy, and the guy that we just talked about Sunday on LFG. He had a match on episode number 3 of LFG season 3. Tate Wilder in the locker room as they prepare for the 6-man tag team match. Sean Legacy tells Tate to pick his spot. Tate then says he picked his spot. He then says he will go ahead first into chaos. He then says he will bring out the wild side. Dorian Bandu in the back that says he is a week away from being cleared. So Dorian Bandu, that's another name. Obviously, that's on LFG. That's been on NXT television. That's going to be making its way back very shortly. So then we go to a backstage segment with the boat. Obviously, another person that follows me on X, Natty. However you want to call it, Natalia, Natty. She is backstage and she's sitting down in a chair and she's talking about LFG. I did talk about this on Scoop Sunday. It was reported already that Natty had went to Shawn Michaels and requested to work a program with Jada Parker. So this is how this is all getting started right here. Natty is asked about LFG. Natty says there have been so many great parts. Natty says seeing people grow from ground zero. And then Jada Parker shows up from behind Natty. Says she wants to talk to Natty and interrupts her. Natty tells Jada maybe she should join LFG. Then they have words that have to be separated. So like I said, on Scoops, and it was reported, I believe, by Fight or at Body Slam at the time. Can't remember which one of the two. that Natty had went to Shawn Michaels to work a program with Jada Parker. So that's what we got. Things seem to be going over between Jada Parker and Natty. So then we go to the next match of the other night. It's going to be the 6-man tag match. It's going to be Birthright. They make their way down to the ring against EK Prosper, Tate Wilder, and Shawn Legacy. So it's going to be Shawn Legacy, Tate Wilder, and EK Prosper versus Birthright, Uriah Connors, Charlie Dempsey, and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo, accompanied by his girlfriend Beyonce, Ariana Grace, the former. She just lost the title to Wwe Nxt last week. The former TNA Women's Knockouts champion. So the match starts off with Tate Wilder, Stacks locking up. Stacks then runs into a drop kick. Charlie Dempsey then comes in. Tate Wilder then sends Charlie Dempsey into the corner. He tags Shawn Legacy in. And by the way, I saw that Lainey Reed tagged Uriah Connors and said she wanted to wrestle him. So I don't know if they're like dating or what, but it's very odd. Tate Wilder then sends Dempsey into the corner. He tags Shawn Legacy in. Legacy then hits a drop kick and he tags in EK Prosper. EK Prosper then hits a stomp on the back of his opponent's head. He hits a drop kick and follows it up with a standing moonsault for a count of 2. Charlie Dempsey then pulled the hair Prosper and tagged in Uriah Connors. Uriah Connors then hits a drop kick. So then you get Legacy, Wilder, and Prosper join together to send Birthright to the outside. Fight this goes to the outside. Connors and hits a cannonball on the back of Prosper. Back in the ring, Charlie Dempsey hits Prosper with a backbreaker and he follows it up by switching in a single leg crowd. Shannon Stacks then comes in and Prosper tries to fight back and he tags Shawn Legacy in. Shawn Legacy then takes the fight to Connors. Legacy then hits a suicide dive. Connors then hits a back elbow. Dempsey then enters the ring but suffers the same fate as Uriah Connors. Shannon Stacks then comes in and delivers a big boot. Shawn Legacy delivers a drop kick. Charlie Dempsey then sends Shawn Legacy to the floor. The fight then spills outside again. Charlie Dempsey delivers an uppercut. So then you can hear the NXT Universe, NXT fans trying to rally. Legacy Birthright continued to beat down on Shawn Legacy. Uriah Connors then hits a double stomp for a count of 2. Uriah Connors then hits a cheap shot to EK Prosper. Shawn Legacy then tags Tate Wilder in. This is where Tate Wilder kind of went a little too wild tonight. He did not want to tag out. Tate Wilder comes in, takes the fight to Charlie Dempsey, and hits a double clothesline to Stacks and Connors. Tate Wilder then hits a double DDT. He then hits Charlie Dempsey with a snap suplex and goes for the pin, but only gets 2. EK Prosper and Connors then change shots in the center of the ring. Shawn Legacy and Stacks are now going at each other. Tate Wilder then hits a sling blade. Charlie Dempsey enters the ring and hits an uppercut. Tate Wilder then hits a suplex. Charlie Dempsey then hits a double underhook superplex. EK Prosper flies through the air to break up the fall. Tate Wilder then hits Connors with a cutter. Shannon Stacks breaks it up. Tate Wilder then clears the ring and he launches himself over the top rope, wiping out Birthright. Back in the ring, Tate Wilder drops Charlie Dempsey on his back. Tate Wilder hits a frog splash and goes for another pinfall, but only gets a count of 2. Tate Wilder then misses a moonsault. Shannon Stacks and Connors hit double kicks for 1, 2, 3 and get the pinfall on Tate Wilder. But the downfall of EK Prosper, Shawn Legacy, and Tate Wilder tonight was that Tate Wilder did not want to make that tag. He wanted to stay in the ring. But the winners of the 6-man tag match is Birthright, Uriah Connor, Charlie Dempsey, and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. So their momentum continues. So then we go backstage and we see Lizzie Rain and Tatum Paxton, who were just victorious against Zarya and Nikita Lyons. Tatum says she has so much fun tonight. Lizzie Rain that says she is still buzzing. Tatum that says she wants to be a fight champion and give Lizzie Rain a shot at her goal. Charlotte Hill then walks up to them and talks about his research on Trusted Angels, and obviously Tatum Paxton tells Charlotte Hill that he has a great smile. So Trusted Angels obviously is an up and comer, big name that's coming up in the NXT on the NXT show. But Charlotte's talking about he did some research on Trusted Angels. Tristan shows up. Obviously, Lizzie Rain says she knows who Trusted Angels is. Trusted Angels shows up and the two get into an argument. Trusted Angels insists he will make his in-ring debut next week. He will show everyone, especially to Charlotte, that he is in a class of his own. So Trusted Angels will make his NXT debut next week as well. So that's two matches. Trusted Angel makes his NXT debut, and Tatum Paxton will defend the Women's North American Championship against Lizzie Rain next week. So we go backstage again. Obviously, Izzy Dame and Nico Vance defeated Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana. Izzy Dame got the pinfall. Lola Vice scored. She got the pinfall champion. We see Izzy Dame in the back telling Nico Vance that last week's victory was what they needed. Nico then said Izzy set herself up great by pinning Lola Vice for a title match. Shawn Spears and said they are always stronger together. Nico then said Izzy has given them a clear path. He then said while everyone is planning their next move, you know what steps to take. Izzy then says nothing happens by chance. Izzy then asked Nico to stay while Shawn Spears leaves. That was a little weird right there. Izzy then said if Lola is watching that match tonight, the main event, she is going to be keeping her eyes on that Women's NXT champion, Lola Vice. Collins are always 2 steps ahead, so I think ultimately that's going to be the next big opponent for Lola Vice is going to be Izzy Dame. She did get that pinfall victory. NXT General Manager Robert Stone is now in the ring to announce NXT's newest acquisition. Obviously, he has attacked Tony D'Angelo the last couple of weeks. He then brings out the new NXT acquisition. His name is Mason Rook. Mason Rook makes his way down to the ring. Rook then asks Stone, who is Mason Rook? Rook says he has traveled all around the world. Rookton says he turned heads everywhere he went. Rookton says John Cena even sees him. Big words. Rookton says it's pretty hard not to notice a flying human tank. So Mason Rook called himself a flying human tank. Well, Bobby, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for liking the video as well. If anybody is watching live tonight, or if you do go back and watch the stream live, make sure you hit that like button. Thank you, Bobby. Once again, shout out to the Queen, Charlotte Flair, for the follow back today. That's something I've been chasing for 15 months. So definitely a great accomplishment for myself. Mason Rook said that John Cena even noticed who he was. So it's pretty hard not to know to find him in the tank. Mason Rook says he is not satisfied and he wants more. Mason Rook puts the entire locker room on notice and promises to crush everyone. He says, I'm the best any weight, is what Mason Rook said. Funny. Then out comes the men's WWE NXT champion, Tony D'Angelo, music kit. I can see Mason Rook. Yes, 100%. That's going to probably be close to the end of the year, but I definitely can see that as well, Bobby. And I don't know if you've seen, Bobby, that I think you liked the comment that I made on Charlotte's post, but she immediately followed me back after that post. She was asking people to say I am or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm finally gonna get the Charlotte Flair follow after 15 months, and then she followed me back. So crazy. Appreciate that. Now I gotta go. Now I gotta start working on JC James. So I'm gonna be focusing all my attention on trying to get JC next. But the NXT Men's Champion Tony D'Angelo's music hits. He makes his way out to the ring. Tony said, "Rook got." He said the first time you jumped him could have just been you were trying to make a name for yourself. Second time, he said, "You got my attention now." Tony says Mason Rook took a page out of his book by starting at the top. Tony says he didn't like Rook attacking him twice. Tony says if Rook thinks he's going to make a name for himself at his expense, but before he could continue from behind, and we've seen this the last couple of weeks, Cam Hendricks, also from LFG and Maxine Dupree's husband, attacked Tony D from behind. Mason Rook hits a moonsault up the turnbuckle to the floor and destroys security. Mason Rook gets back into the ring and then signs the contract while Robert Stone tells him that isn't how they do it around here. So we still have all this stuff going on with Mason Rook, Tony D'Angelo, and Cam Hendricks. I don't know what's happened to the whole Keanu Carver thing because he was like heavily involved with Tony D. I only have one wrestler that wrestled on WWE Evolve. That is WWE. Oh wow! You just gotta keep liking their stuff and commenting. Sometimes, I mean, majority of them I do have to ask, but once you start getting a couple of them, they just start. I think I have like 35 at this point. I have quite a bit. The biggest names obviously is like Randy Orton, Charlotte, Natty, Zelina. Who else? I have Natty, Charlotte, Zelina, Michin, Zelina Vega, Karen Cross, Archer, John Cena, Cody Rhodes. I don't know, it's a lot of them. I think John Cena might have been my first one, but anyway, appreciate that. So Mason Rook did sign the contract at the end. Mason Rook is a bad man. So we didn't see Noam Dar in the locker room getting ready for his match, and Romeo Moreno is praising Noam Dar's accomplishments. He utters the A word. Noam then says he doesn't know if he is even that guy anymore. So then Emily Agar, she is the newest, one of the newest reporters for NXT, doing interviews and stuff. Obviously, we saw her last week with doing her first ever one with Keanu Carver. Trying to fix the computer screen. Yeah, I'm now knowing Dar's been on TV for a while, so it's good to see him again. Definitely. Anyway, Agar, she sits down at barbecue with OTM, Bronco Nima, and Lucian Price. She asked about who they are. Bronco then introduces Emily to his brother. She then asked Lucian something about Bronco that would shock people. Lucian said Bronco takes care of his brother because his mother passed away. Bronco then says his mom taught him about manhood and how it is about responsibility. He then says he had to answer the call and his brother never had to worry about anyone by his side. He then says that is what he has to deal with when opportunity meets responsibility. Then talking about them on Scoop, and said they're going to be the ones that's going to be making a run. Obviously, we're going to see Vanity Project Vanity Tag Team Championship next week against Dark State, but I don't think Dark State's getting the title back. Not yet. Or I think they're about to split up soon. Emily then asked JJ, what does OTM mean? And he says it means overcoming adversity. Emily then asked Bronco something about Lucien. He said people don't see that Lucien is quiet and he is intelligent. He then said Lucien is an artist. Emily then says, ask if the goal is tag team goal. Bronco then tells her to come back with some championship questions after they beat Vanity Project. So OTM definitely has tag team gold on their mind. I said that a couple weeks ago on Scoop that they were going to be the ones to take the title off of Vanity Project eventually. And speaking of Vanity Project, one portion of Vanity Project, Jack Drake had to go down to the ring for the next match of the night, accompanied by Mika Lockwood, otherwise known as Bailey Humphrey. She also follows me as well on X. He is going to go one-on-one versus Noam Dar. You guys all remember Noam? He has been around NXT for quite some time now. Just for a second. Oh, sorry about that. Oh crap, my phone. Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Alright. So Mika Lockwood is out there, obviously with Jackson Drake. I don't know, I guess they're like dating now, I'm not sure. So the match starts off with Noam Dar applied a side headlock. He then hits a shoulder tackle and sends it in and ankle lock. Jackson Drake bites out of it. Noam Dar then hits a striking combination for a near fall. Dar then drops Drake off the apron and hits a big boot, sending Jackson Drake to the floor. Fight then still to the outside. Back in the ring, Noam Dar continued to beat down on Jackson Drake. Dar then hits a series of kicks on the back of Drake. Drake then fights back. Drake then heads to the top rope, but Noam Dar hits him with a cutter for a count of 2. Appreciate it. You love Jackson Drake. Big fan, huh? So Jackson Drake then hits an exploder in the corner, and Noam Dar's knees bounces off the turnbuckle. Jackson then stomps on Noam Dar's hand. Noam Dar then heads to the top rope, but he gets dropped. Jackson Drake then hits Noam Dar with a superplex for another count of 2. Jackson Drake then hits a cutter for a count of 2. Drake then begins pounding away at Noam Dar. Noam Dar fights back. Noam Dar then hits a German suplex, and he follows it up with a Northern Lights suplex. He then goes for a back elbow, but Drake counters with a double knee gutbuster for a count of 2. Noam Dar then rolls Drake up for a count of 2. He then applies an armbar to Jackson Drake. Jackson Drake and Noam Dar then exchange shots in the middle of the ring. Noam Dar then hits a kick to the gut. The fight is built to the outside. Noam Dar then comes face to face with Mika Lockwood, who is obviously with the Vanity Project of Jackson Drake. And the Vanity Project members get involved. Jackson Drake needs to Noam Dar as the numbers game is finally caught up to him. You've been watching Jackson since he was in the ball. Yep, because you had a lot of questions about him on Scoops, I remember. Jackson Drake then hits a knee to Dar as the numbers game catches up to him, and then Jackson Drake goes up top, hits the 450 splash. What's going on my computer screen? Hits the 450 splash for the 1, 2, 3. What's going on my computer screen? So Jackson Drake scored the pinfall victory over Noam Dar. After the match, though, Vanity Project celebrating in the ring, but the lights go out. The Dark State appears in the crowd. They are challenging. They make the challenge out for Vanity Project for next week for the WWE NXT Tag Team Championships. So then we see Tavion Heights in the back with the WWE NXT Men's North American Champion Miles Bourne. He brings up a tag match. Obviously, there's going to be a tag match next week with Miles Bourne and Tony D'Angelo against Cam Hendricks and what's the new guy's name? Rook. Can't think of his first name. Yeah, I'm still learning all these new people's names. The guy that signed tonight, Mason Rook and Cam Hendricks next week against Tony D'Angelo and Osborne. That's also going to happen on NXT next week. So, Miles Bourne brings up a tag match. Tavion thinks they are working together. Miles then says it is going to be him and Tony. Tavion then brings up his match from last week. He then says it was cool when they needed it, but now that he is a champion, he's forgotten about him. He then said he hoped Tony is there for Miles like he would be. So there's a lot of tension going on between Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. You can look for them to be getting into a feud soon. Dark State is now standing in the ring. Deion Lennox says the Vanity Project NXT Tag Team Championship run is over. Saquon Sugar then said they're about to see a crime on live television. Brad Baylor then reminded Dark State that they took the gold from them. He then said the Vanity Project is the reason Deion Lennox and Saquon Sugar have been at each other's throats. Brad Baylor then says they don't give handouts. Cutler James then says they never got their right rematch they deserve. He then said NXT General Manager Robert Stone already approved this match for next week on NXT. Dark State are ready for their NXT Tag Team title rematch. Cutler James then turns his attention to Deion Lennox and Saquon Sugars. He then says he wants Dark State on the same page. Osiris Griffin then tells Deion Lennox to get the tag team titles back. The Vanity Project then tries to attack Dark State from behind, but Deion Lennox and Saquon Sugars send them to the outside. So we will see Dark State go against Vanity Project next Tuesday on NXT for the NXT Tag Team Championships. So we then see Robert Stone tell Evil, aka Nakaru, that he wants to sit down with him to talk about his future. Nakaru then thanks him, and then Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook show up in Robert Stone's office. Robert Stone is always in a big frenzy. He's always had so much going on at one time. And they said they want to know what the deal is with the tag match for next week. Obviously, Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook will be facing Tony D'Angelo and Miles Bourne next week. Mason says you have to make noise to stand out. So Cam didn't want to be in a tag match, but Mason said you have to make noise to stand out. Tate Wilder then shows up. Same time, like I said, Robert Stone's office is always a revolving open door. And thanks him for his NXT debut. He then says he didn't get the win, but he learned. He then says he is ready for next week. Keanu Carver then shows up behind Tate Wilder and says he is done talking to people. Robert Stone then gives Tate a match up. Well, that's also official for next week. Robert Stone gives Tate Wilder a match next week against Keanu Carver. That's not going to go well for Tate Wilder, I don't think. It is then announced that next week, Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook will face Tony D'Angelo and Miles Bourne. Tatum Paxley defends the Women's NXT North American Championship against Lizzie Rain. The Vanity Project faces Dark State for the tag titles. And Keanu Carver goes one-on-one with Tate Wilder. That's the match for next week. So then we go back to Blake Howard, and she is with Callie Armstrong, who has been very impressive since being on the NXT roster. Robert Stone is doing a great job, but he just seems always so overwhelmed. So Kelly, my bad, sorry about that. So, Blake Howard asked what is next. She says she is going to keep the momentum going. She then says she has to survey the division She then said Lola ain't the only one watching the main event tonight. She says she is going to run through the entire women's locker room. Kendall then comes up to Callie and tells her that she didn't beat her in a ball. She didn't run through everybody. So, like I said, between Kendall, Callie, Lola, Izzy Dame, it's 4 women right there. So it's a lot of matches that can come out of this. I don't know. They're going to end up doing it. And also, obviously, Kalani Jordan, you have to throw her name into the mix as well because she got to win over Kendall tonight. So, yeah. So we are down to the main event of the evening. It is Kalani Jordan going one-on-one with one half of Ran QCC, Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray gets a huge pop from the fans. Obviously, Brent Sinclair is the women's NXT Speed Champion, but she's out there on crutches, so I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to find out. So it's going to be Kalani Jordan going one-on-one with Kendall Gray. This match was phenomenal. The match starts off with both women locking up. They get into a shoving match. Kendall Gray applies a side headlock. She applies an armbar, but Kalani Jordan quickly reaches the ropes. Kalani Jordan then hits a big knee right to the gut of Kendall Gray. She then chops Kendall Gray down. Kendall Gray fights back and hits a series of chops. Kalani Jordan hits Gray with a drop kick. Kendall Gray then hits an elbow. Follows it up with a basement drop kick. Both women are on the apron now. Kendall Gray then hits a double stomp on the stomach for a count of 2. Kendall Gray then goes for an ankle lock, but Kalani Jordan sends her to the outside. She then hits a springboard moonsault to the outside. Kendall Gray then heads to the top rope. She hits a crossbody to Kalani Jordan. Fight then spills to the outside. Kalani then sent Kendall Gray into the hard part of the apron. She then sent Kendall Gray into the steel steps. Back in the ring, Kalani Jordan hits Kendall Gray with a backbreaker. Kalani then drops her shoulder first into the midsection of Kendall Gray. Kalani Jordan hits an Irish whip for a count of 2. Both women then trade shots, and both women are down. Kendall Gray then sends Kalani Jordan over the top rope and to the floor. Kendall Gray then hits an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Kendall Gray then sends Kalani to the other side of the ring, and then hits a Hurricane Rana for a count of 2. She then goes for a German suplex. Kalani Jordan fights out of it. She then flies through the air to hit a forearm, and she follows it up with a powerbomb for a near fall. Kalani Jordan then goes for a split-legged moonsault. Kendall Gray countered with an ankle lock. Kendall Gray then applies an armbar, and Kalani Jordan tries to hold on. Kalani Jordan then delivers a series of knee strikes, then hits a power slam for a near fall, and then out comes. Obviously, they showed it on the back camera. Izzy Dame and Lola Vice started to fight backstage, and then they bring it all the way out to the ring. Izzy Dame is attacking Lola Vice backstage. Like I said, Kalani then hits a Spanish fly for a 2 count. She heads to the top rope, but Kendall Gray meets her up there. The fight between Izzy Dame and Lola Vice spills all the way to the outside to the ring. Kendall Gray is obviously distracted by what's going on because Lola Vice and Izzy Dame one of them pushed the other one into Ran Sinclair. Ran Sinclair is injured and she hit the ground. So Kendall Gray was distracted by what was going on outside the ring, and Kalani Jordan hits a move, gets her onto the mat, goes up top and hits a split-legged moonsault for the 1, 2, 3. What a monster win tonight for Kalani Jordan. Winner of the match of the main event is Kalani Jordan. After the match, Ran Sinclair gets checked on by the officials, followed by Kendall Gray, then get into a shoving match. Izzy Dame then attacked Lola Vice from behind with a huge kick. Izzy Dame then poses with the NXT Women's Championship as the show comes to a close. What's next direction for Klein Jordan? She's got to be in the title picture. At this point, I mean, she made Lola Tap. I mean, she beat Kendall. She's going to be right there in that title picture. I mean, it's 5 women right now that cannot. Lola Weiss got plenty of people going to be coming after her before. These are few that can carry us all the way through the summer and all the way to the end of the year. So she's definitely going to be in the title picture. I could see Kalani definitely being in that John Cena tournament as well. But that's not going to be till the end of the year, I don't think. So, but I'll go ahead and go over the matches again for next week. So next week, we're going to see Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook take on the men's NXT champion and the men's NXT North American champion, Tony D'Angelo and Miles Moore. Tatum Paxley will defend the women's NXT North American championship against Lizzie Rain. Vanity Project will defend their NXT Tag Team Championship against Dark State. And also, Tate Wilder goes one-on-one with Kiana Carter. So this has been your NXT recap live here on the EVP show, Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. Robert Stone would have tried at WWE. His TNA gimmick was so good. Now, WWE elevating him in his post. WWE wrong move should have been earlier. I think it's okay. Robert Stone's doing fine. So yeah, just like I said, just a couple quick announcements. Obviously, shout out to everyone from DWE, Miami the Great, Final Boss Baby. Make sure you follow. I'm live right now on my YouTube page, my X page. I'm also live on DWE television page on X. Make sure you follow that. Make sure you follow Talk It Up podcast on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Also, Director Red, World of Greg, Kyle the Man Anthony with Kyle and Greg do the rundowns on Mondays. Make sure you check that out. Miami also does Inside the Mind on Tuesdays and Thursdays. DW Radio with him and Final Boss Lady on Saturdays. Make sure you check that out. And also, After the Slam podcast, follow him on X and on YouTube as well. And the Smoke Session podcast as well. On X and on YouTube. They will be interviewing D'Lo Brown tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And shout out to everybody from Gimmick Table Media as well, who really controls creative Triple H or TKO. TKO only steps in when they need to step in. It's Triple H. So a lot of people get that mixed up. Just a couple quick announcements. The last Sunday of May will be the Clash at Italy PLE, which will be at like 2 p.m. Eastern, I believe, or something like that. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you coming in. Shout out to Bobby and Peter for coming in tonight. And like I said, if you guys are watching this, or do go back and watch this live on YouTube, please hit that like button. It definitely helps me out in the algorithm. And make sure to share the post. Share my YouTube link, either on X, Instagram, or on TikTok. I'm at 224 subscribers. My goal is to get to 300 by SummerSlam, so I'm 76 away. So anytime you guys get a chance, make sure to hit that share button or retweet button on Twitter. Help me try to get to 300. But the announcements, obviously, the last Sunday of May is going to be the Clash at Italy PLE in Turin. There will not be a Sunday night scoop show the last Sunday of the month. I will be doing a Clash at Italy recap show right after the Clash at Italy post show goes off the air, which is going to be probably around the same time that Sunday night scoop will be coming on. So the last Sunday of the month, there will be no Sunday night scoop. There will be a Clash at Italy recap show, but then later on that night, I will be back for the LFG Season 3 recap show. There just will not be a Sunday scoop on the last Sunday of May. So make sure you guys set the reminders for that. Also, if you are a part of the Saturday night's main event prediction show, or the Clash at Italy prediction show. The Saturday night main event prediction show is going to be next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the Clash at Italy prediction show is going to be the following Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, I will make a post on Twitter several times, tagging everybody to remind them. And I will let you guys know my schedule once I go to the outro and tell you guys where you can find me on all my socials. I will give you guys my schedule for the rest of this week and next week. And once again, shout out to Bobby and Peter for coming in. Thank you guys for watching the NXT Recap Show live here on the EVP Show, Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the outro, and I'll be back to tell you where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for the rest of this week and what I have coming up next week here on the EVP Show.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in to the NXT Recap Show live here on the EVP Show, Tuesday, May the 12th, 2026. So, you can see the pretty blue down there on the bottom of the screen. Listen to tell everyone where you can find me on my social. All my links are obviously in my bio. But if you're looking for me on X, you can find me at EVPCJP. And once again, I did reiterate on all of my social platforms that I'm about to give you. My YouTube link is pinned at the top of, at Instagram and TikTok. It's pinned at the top of my bio. But on Twitter, X, whatever you guys call it, if you're following me, you can see it. It's all the way at the top of my page. It's been sitting up there for quite a while. So if you ever get a chance, go up there and hit that retweet button. Share it with your friends. If you love the content, then you might have some people that also will enjoy coming in and listening to a lot of daily wrestling content or a scoop show on Sundays. So, but if you're looking for me on X, you can find me at EVPCJP, Instagram, same handle at EVPCJP. The Instagram account is a business account, so my YouTube link is posted at the top of the page. On TikTok, if you're looking for me, you can find me at Brady the Goat 21. That's at BRADYDA Goat 21. Again, that's at Brady the Goat 21 on TikTok. Last but not least, and most importantly, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you already are subscribed, hit that notification bell, and you will be reminded when I go live, which is almost every day. I'm not this week. Obviously, I'm off tomorrow, which I'll get to here shortly. I'm off Saturday as well. But next week, the next 2 weeks, we're back to a full 7-day weeks here on the EVP Show. So definitely going to enjoy the 2 days off this week because I know the last 2 weeks of the month are going to be hectic. So, like I was saying, last but not least, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You are already subscribed, please share it with your friends. I think they enjoy the content. Just share the link with them. You can find it on any of my social media platforms. Try to help me get to 300 subscribers by SummerSlam. But if you're not subscribed to me and you're looking for my page, you can go to the search bar up top, type in at the EVP Show. You'll see a crap ton of live videos, over 920 at least. Obviously, it's a lot. So, just type in at DVP Show, hit that subscribe button. Come join us. Come join us for a lot of daily wrestling content. So, with that being said, what I have coming up tomorrow, you can tune into the Smoke Session podcast, part of the DWE television. as they will be interviewing D'Lo Brown. I will not be a part of that. I'm not on that panel. But definitely be tuned in, listening to that. They're interviewing D'Lo Brown tomorrow, so make sure you tune in to that. But for as far as what me and my channel, I will not be streaming tomorrow. I'm off. But I will be back Thursday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for your TNA recap show. And then Friday night, back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the SmackDown recap show. And then Saturday, I'm off again. And then coming up this Sunday will be the fourth week of Doubleheader Sunday. First, you can tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP, episode number 21. Like I said, should be a pretty good bit of news to deliver to you guys. And then obviously we do a Q&A for about until all the questions are done. We went for almost 2.5 hours this past Sunday, so it usually goes over 2 hours every Sunday. Now it'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern, but then come back later that night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern and join me for the LFG Season 3 Episode 4 recap show. And then Monday night, come back. It will be the Go Home Raw before Saturday night's main event. You can come join me at 11 p.m. Eastern Time for the Raw recap show. And then next Tuesday night, sort of like Title Tuesday, there's several title matches on NXT next week. It's 3. I think it's 3. No, it's two title matches. It's the Women's North American Championship and the Men's Tag Team Championship. Next Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, come join me back here live for the NXT recap show. Next Wednesday night, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, at 7 p.m. Eastern live, come hit that notification bell and come join the full panel of 10 as we do the Saturday night prediction show live at 7 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Come join us for the Saturday night. Even if you're not on the panel, come join us in the comments. And you can put your predictions up in the comments. I will post them up on the screen. Next Thursday night, join me back again at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for the TNA recap show. And then next Friday night, it is the Go Home SmackDown, the night before Saturday night's main event. Come join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the SmackDown recap show. And then next Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Usually don't working on Saturdays unless it's a PLE. Next Saturday, come join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Saturday night's main event recap show. As I will be going live as soon as Saturday night's main event is over. Go over the Saturday night's main event PLE recap with you guys. And then next Sunday, to cap off a busy week next week, it is Doubleheader Sunday again here on the EVP show. Come join me at 6 p.m. Eastern Time or Sunday Night Scoop with the EVP episode number 22. And then come back and join me later on that night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the LOG Season 3 episode number 5 recap show. So like I said, a full week coming to you guys next week. We have the Saturday night main event prediction show next Wednesday, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Look out for that on X. Shout out once again to Charlotte Flair for the follow. Definitely won't forget today. That's a huge thing for me. I've been trying to get that for a long time. Thank you so much for that. But that is pretty much it, guys. I am off tomorrow. Make sure you tune in to the Smoke Session podcast. As I said, we'll be interviewing D'Lo Brown tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. It will be a part of WWE television as well. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the NXT Recap Show live here on the EVP show Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of DWE. DWE is the place to be. Like I said, make sure you tune in tomorrow to the Smoke Session podcast as they will be interviewing D'Lo Brown. I will be off tomorrow. There will be no stream here on the EVP shows. I'll be doing a lot of wrestling, and I'll be watching D'Lo Brown, obviously. But I will not be streaming tomorrow. But tune in. Come back and join me Thursday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for your TNA recap show. That being said, hopefully you guys enjoy your Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. I'm gonna see you guys Thursday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for the TNA recap show. Good night, everyone.